plan to get as far as exactly, the types of things that we're going to be doing, but it will be involving looking at hiring additional lobbyists to help with our legislative agenda. Just to kind of give you a rough idea, the League of Municipalities has 9 full-time lobbyists. The County Commissioners Association has 5 full-time lobbyists, and we have 1 full-time lobbyist. And so that's something that we're looking at establishing, and also social media interaction with the media, and trying to inform the public a little bit more about what's happening with the school board systems. And I think it's important that we participate. I, for one, am willing to forgo any reimbursements for trips and meals, mileage, things like that, to help so we can pay for this without spending additional monies that we're already spending. I think that through some sacrifice to the board, maybe if we look at maybe not going to the National School Board Association Convention this year, we can certainly save several thousands of dollars in doing that. And this is something that if we don't feel like we're getting our money's worth after a year, we can certainly withdraw from it. It's not something that once we sign up, we have to keep doing. I actually talked to some businesses that are interested in trying to help us pay for part of this so that we can reduce the effect on our budget. I actually have one business that said they'd be willing to donate $500 to go towards this. I talked with another gentleman that said he may be interested in donating $300 to help go towards this. I think it's well worth the money. I think it will be, we've had some cuts to our budget, our per pupil expenditures, and so I think it's important that we increase our lobbying efforts in the General Assembly.
Well, I guess I have to disagree. I don't feel that this new organization would be beneficial to local school boards. As you said, we already have a lobbyist. The North Carolina School Board Association is a 501c3 organization. Yeah, look at the transparency we don't have with this group. The 990 IRS form cannot be found online. A school board member who works for the IRS could not even locate it. And yesterday, a school board member from Iredell County put in a request for that form, which shows the salaries that are being paid to the executives that work for the North Carolina School Board Association, and also how much money is coming in that they're making off of the conferences and training, as well as those membership dues that we pay. I think somebody mentioned the $21,350 we had to pay this year for our membership dues just for Buncombe County. Then we have to pay for training, which is very expensive. Just a webinar alone is $125 for one board member. Then if you have to travel to a conference, you've got all those expenses associated with hotel and per diem for food, for meals, as well as the training expense itself. But we couldn't find that information. Lots of board members were looking for this in the past few days. We haven't been able to find that 990 form. My other concern is also that board members can lobby their representatives individually. It's a highly effective way to get legislation passed. In fact, I have a great example from this year when I asked Representative Nathan Ramsey to increase the flexibility in the way we spend our Article 39 sales tax dollars. And that is money that is designated for construction of schools in Buncombe County alone. This is a special local bill. So he did introduce flexibility in that policy. He introduced a bill in the House of Representatives that we could spend that money on digital technology and teacher professional development, not just construction. And it's about $14 million a year. So this bill did meet resistance in the Senate. Senator Nesbitt, who called it his legacy
did not want it changed, so there was a compromise, and the $5 million we get in lottery money was instead, flexibility was increased in that, spending that money, so it didn't just go for school construction, but now we can spend it for technology. So that's just what, as one board member started the ball rolling. I'm sure Representative Ramsey met with Superintendent Baldwin about that bill, so it wasn't just me, but I'm just saying that it cost the taxpayers $6,000, and that was a bill that has significantly will help Buncombe County schools, the $5 million in lottery funds that we'll be able to spend on technology in our schools. So I don't know, I haven't seen the track record for NCSBA last year as to what bills they actually made happen or they stopped. In fact, speaking of stopping something, Leanne Winter, who's our current lobbyist, announced at several of our district meetings we had in September that the School Board Association opposed a new law that the legislature passed to allow concealed carry weapons in vehicles locked in compartments on campus. This is a big convenience for people who have a concealed carry permit and they have to go pick their child up at school. They can't go home and leave the weapon perhaps, or just it makes a reassurance for teachers that if they have something, if they have a concealed carry permit, if they want to keep a weapon in their car to make them feel safer, they are allowed to do that. Well, she announced that we were opposing this bill, and later denied that she had announced this. And I've heard 2 recordings from district meetings where she said we were opposing it. Then she came to the district meeting we had. Several of us were there last week, and she didn't mention the opposition to this bill. It's been all over the news, this turnaround that the School Board Association had, which makes me wonder, can I trust them? Can I trust them not to fund candidates? Even though they say they won't, they are allowed to as a 501c4 organization. I haven't seen any documentation about their expenditures as a 501c3 organization. Will I be able to access financial data on this new action center? I do know that the action center can use those public dollars, as I said, to fund candidates. And also, we will not know, they do not have to reveal their donors. So those businesses Bob is talking about that might donate to that school board center, they may have a vested interest in some legislation, and that might be why they're donating to that action center. But we won't know. They do not have to share that information with the public. And again, this is your public dollars, your tax dollars. It's going to fund a group that may not represent the best interests of the students. Rather, they may be representing the interests of the bureaucracy, of the teachers lobbying union, rather than what's best for students. So I have lots of questions about this, and I just feel like it's something I cannot support.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, I voted, we're being televised, and I voted against it, which I was, I think I'd rather spend money on this than television. But I mean, I'm not advocating we shut down the television. We're spending $12,000 to do that, thereabouts. So.
I would just say, obviously, with North Carolina, teachers ranked 49th in the nation. In funding per student, we rank 46th. I mean, we need to change something. We need to increase the awareness. We need advocates that look after public education and the funding. And so I'm going to vote to support this for that reason.
Any other questions or comments?
I do want to emphasize what one of the speakers said earlier. Last month, Ms. Churchill said we're on a slippery slope when we start spending $20 for training for a member of the board. And here we are on a slippery slope supporting a political group with tax dollars. The taxpayers have no say in how the money is spent and what it will support what legislative endeavors it will support. I just feel like this is really something that we should not support. I would also like to ask that Mr. Chairman Reinhardt recuse himself from the vote since he is on the Action Center board.
Okay, I have no problem doing that.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to just make a response to that statement
Okay.
that was made. First of all, with regards to my concerns to spending the $20 of the meeting that we discussed last month, I think that we're discussing apples and oranges here. My reason for being against that meeting was that it was a very exclusive meeting that was by invitation only and was not inclusive of myself or any other board members. So I guess my concern is that there's been an awful lot of my name being thrown around and slippery slope in politics, but I just want to make sure that everybody's very clear as to why I had concerns last month with that meeting. And it was not just the political concerns, it was the exclusiveness of that meeting.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask you a question, because you're in on the ground floor with this, so to speak. The advocacy, I think I heard, but maybe not, but I think I heard Ms. Baldwin say something to the opposite. But the advocacy for this will be the lobbyist, plural, in 10 years if it became that, or if it stays as one, whatever it becomes or doesn't become. The lobbyist is going to lobby for the legislative format that the 115 LEAs of the state of North Carolina come together and meet and agree and vote on, that this is what we think is important for public schools in the state of North Carolina, and we need the legislature to help us with this. And that's what the charge will be from this group to whomever it is that is working for the group. They're working for the LEAs, who are working for the students, to do the best that we can for the students in the state of North Carolina. Is that accurate?
And Ms. Baldwin is correct. I think it's very important that we, as individuals, do all that we can to work with the legislators, let them know how that we feel. But, I mean, having someone that's in Raleigh full-time, but it's one person or two people, and those people are, indispensable in helping push the voted-on legislative agenda of the North Carolina School Board Association. That is the only thing that we're empowered to do. Outside of that, we're not empowered to do it. I have a proposed budget. I'll be more than happy to share that with anyone that would like to talk about it.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
One more.
Yes.
How often you guys meet?
4 times a year.
And you've met once?
The next meeting will be at the meeting in Greensboro in November when we go down for the. I've also not accepting any reimbursements from that committee also. So, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.